Hello, everyone. My name is Katarina Andersson from grapevineadventures.com. And this live stream is the part of a challenge with Jenny Q in Go Live. So my theme for today is to talk about 3 things to think about when you're planning your holiday or wine tour holiday in Tuscany. So I'm a wine writer and wine blogger, and I live in Tuscany, even though I'm Swedish. I live in Tuscany since quite some years. And lately, I'm helping more and more people who write to me because they want advice about where to go, which wineries to choose. And often I also direct them to local wine tour guides. So that's what I do apart from writing about wine and the live streaming about wine. So welcome everybody, and let's dive in. So one point to think about is to plan beforehand and decide which wine denomination area you want to visit in Tuscany. Tuscany might seem small with US standards, but it's fairly hard to get around. So if you want to go to different areas, it's probably not good to do that if you're only staying for a very few days. So, for example, it can be good to choose if you want to visit wineries in Chianti or in Chianti Classico, which still are fairly close to each other. If you want to go to Montalcino and taste some Brunello, or if you want to go to Montecurco or Maremma, or if you want to go to Bolgheri. The areas are quite distinct, so I think if you're only staying for 1 or 2 days, it's very good to choose 1, maximum 2 areas, and plan that beforehand, and to also make time for the driving for where to go, because often you might think that you can do perhaps 4 or 5 wineries in 1 day, but it's rather impossible. So I would say 2 wineries, perhaps 3 would be the maximum. Point number 2 is I would suggest to contact a local wine tour guide, a smaller guide, to not end up with these very, very large groups that tour the very mainstream larger wineries in large groups, which often get the very general tastings. This is, of course, if you're very into wine and interested in discovering and knowing more about wine. If you're not, if you just want a general tour, then of course the bigger and the larger wine group tours are also okay. But otherwise, I would suggest that you choose a small local wine tour operator and discuss with them how to plan your wine tour. Also because yes, Boulder is a very interesting area, but it's a bit far away from the rest. So if you want to go to Chianti or Chianti Classico, you might not make it also for Bolgheri in the same 1 or 2 days. So where was I? Okay, so I would say as I said, to choose a local, smaller wine tour operator, and I also know some people if you want to do that. So it's fairly easy to contact me or somebody else that you find in the area. And number 3 is to discuss your wine tour with them. I mean, it's not said that they have to do already ready-made, package-made tours for you. You can surely tell them what you want to do. So I would suggest to do 1 larger winery, and yes, wineries close to Viareggio, they're also very interesting because they do a lot of Vermentino, of course, but also they do also very interesting red wines. Of course, Sangiovese, but also Vermentino Nero, which is black Vermentino, which is very interesting. So where was I? I would say that, as I mentioned, to discuss with the tour guide where you want to go, what kind of wineries. Hello, Lynn, and hello, Francesca and Lloyd. It's nice that you joined me in this in this kind of test live stream for the Go Live challenge. So to discuss with the local tour guide, well, what do you want to do and where you want to go? So I would suggest that you do only one larger mainstream winery, because of course everybody wants to go to Bargino, Antinori, or they want to go to Frescobaldi, one of their wineries, or they might want to go to any other of the larger yeah, Yannick, you made me hashtag yes. And then to choose, depending on how many days you have, to choose a couple of, if you only have one day, you can choose one or two smaller wineries. Or if you have more days, you can also choose two larger and perhaps 2-3 smaller. Just because if you go to a smaller producer who perhaps do between, perhaps one who does 10,000, 15,000 bottles and one who does perhaps around 100,000 bottles a year, you also get to see more behind the scenes. You get to learn more about the owner, the winemaker, the producer. You get to see a closer look on how they make wine. They have more time for you probably to show you the wine cellar, the process, the vineyards, and you get more time during the tasting mostly. So I would say that you get more full immersion wine visit, and so if you're very into wine, I would recommend that. Yes, Jenny made me do it. Jenny Q. So those are my three points if you want to do a wine tour, which I would suggest very much, because of course I write about wine and I write about Italian wine, and I also have my live stream about Italian wine. I actually have here at Be Live every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. European time and 3 p.m. Eastern US time. So those were the 3 points. So plan which plan which area you want to go to, which wine denomination area. Now I'm talking about Tuscany, but even if you do another area like Piemonte, or if you do, I don't know, Le Marche, Veneto, I would say it's the same thing. Because it's hard to get around the whole region in 2 or 3 days, and you might not get as much out of it as you want to. 2, to contact a local smaller wine tour guide. For those of you who are interested, my friend Laura McDonald from Las Vegas is doing excellent wine tours in Tuscany. Yes, I'm doing it finally. And 3, to plan, not to be afraid to ask what you want to do, and make the tour guide plan according to your wishes. Don't only accept ready packages, but ask for what you want to, where you want to go, what you want to visit. Normally you also have a driver, of course, because if you're a larger group, if you don't want to pay for that, I don't know, you can probably arrange something, but it's easier if you get a driver. Also because if you want to drink a lot, it's not that easy to drive around the Tuscan roads. So these were the 3 things I had to give as advice for choosing your vacation in Tuscany and your wine tour in Tuscany. So if you want to get in contact with me, you can find me at greatvineadventures.com, or you can get in contact with me here on my Facebook page. Thank you, Lynn. That's nice to hear. As I said, yes, the driver is better, because then you can sip more wine and you can sit back and enjoy the countryside without being stressed about the driving around in small curvy roads. So for those of you who are interested in wine, I have my wine blog, as I said, and I also have the live stream, which is tomorrow. Tomorrow we're having actually a wine producer from Emilia Romagna, Podere Palazzo, close to Cesena. And the owner, the daughter of the owner, is actually living in Dallas in Texas, so she will be on US time, Sara Trevisani. Yeah, we should meet up in Tuscany. That would be cool. So now I'm done this Jenny Q made me do it live stream, so I hope you enjoyed it, and I think I probably did a lot of errors, but that's okay. So feel free to contact me, and feel free to join me in Tuscany for a wine tour, and I hope you enjoy this short description, and let's get in touch very soon, and I hope to see you all in the Go Live group again for some other challenge, because this was fairly fun, really fun, even if I was a bit late with everything. So have a great evening and enjoy your wine tonight, and see you soon. Ciao, ciao.